Blog Talk Radio.
Hello and welcome to Storyboards with Sky Darkholme on Poetic Slice of Life. Poetic Slice of Life is a radio group on allpoetry.com, the largest poetry group there is around, I think. And tonight it is Moonscapes with S. Darkholme, and we have characters and some quotes featuring comic book characters, Moon Knight, Moon Dragon, and Moon Maiden. So, without further ado, hello, my wonderful co-hosts who are thinking about heading out, which is not going to happen.
No, that's just Steven being a smart aleck.
Steven's going to bed. I am going to bed.
All right, Kay, it's all yours.
Okay.
How are you guys doing?
We're doing okay.
Yeah.
It's been a long week.
Yeah.
A long week,
I've
long
missed
month.
you guys. I've missed you
Really
guys. I hate just calling in and reading and running. I really kind of missed you.
Oh, we miss you too.
Yeah. Well, we're here now.
I know, we're all here. We've got
Yeah.
Wayne and Dan on the board.
Well,
Wayne.
also Wayne's also here. I'm gonna pick him up.
There's Wayne.
So
There's
good to
Wayne.
have Wayne here.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, Wayne.
Hello, Wayne.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Hello.
Y'all having too much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. We have some fun. And hi, Bella. She's listening. She can't call, but she's listening. She's not on the board, but she is listening. Well, she said she's listening.
Hello, Bella.
So,
Sister's on bed rest.
she is on bed rest. So she said she'll plug us into our ear, but she can't be going around doing all this stuff on EP. So.
Well, that's okay. I understand.
All right. So, Wayne, are you ready to read? Get you right up there?
I was gonna get Kay to read it for me since it's a woman speaking. It's probably better if a lady read it. I'm just saying.
Okay.
It's all female talking.
Okay, we can do that. So Wayne wrote for Moon Maiden, and let me tell you a little bit about Moon Maiden before we get going. I got my computer's working. My computer's working. It's like the first time in like 4 shows. Yeah. So Moon Maiden's first appearance was in JLA in Giant Size Special number 3 in 2000. Her alter ego is Laura Klein, and her alias is Laurel, or the Moon Maiden. And abilities are emotion control, levitation, gravity control, fight, and lunar madness. So a little bit of background history on the Moon Maiden. Hugh Klein was an American astronaut on the moon mission, discovered an ancient structure called a lunar villa with an infant girl in a cradle inside. Then he is confronted by a ghostly consortium identified as the 100. I was about to say the 100. I've watched that show too many times.
Mm-hmm.
So they're a group of philosophers and scholars devoted to peace who fled Rome during the time of the emperors in using alchemy. And they created the lunar villa and attempted to create a champion of their peaceful ideas on Earth. Instead of creating that, they created a villain known as Velkas. And to atone for their mistakes, they created a child they called, and forgive me if I pronounce this wrong, but Stramostra Supra. And it means she who will point the way. So Wayne here wrote about that character, which I'm really excited. And the quotes that were given were, "You are going to use me and throw me away, like all of those poor souls. All of the torn away in the past, just like you and I were. And you know the suffering I've gone through for you." And I think Wayne just wrote about the character, which is awesome too. So whenever you are ready, Kay, I am ready.
Good explanation.
Okay. And this is by Wayne Gent, and this is called I Am the Moon Maiden. You are going to use me and throw me away, like all those poor souls. You think of me as weak, not knowing the way like a soft breeze blows. Scholars and philosophers from Rome fled, created a place of purpose. The ghostly consortium was called the 100 by mistake, creative Vulcus. Thought he was special, someone could trust. He turned out to be the villain. Became evil. The villain they call Vulcus, I'll be taking him down, God willing. I was created to put clouds in his day. He's not that bad, just mean. My name is She Who Will Point the Way, daughter of astronaut Hugh Klein. Now known as Laurel, the Moon Maiden, I control one's emotions. Vulgus can say goodbye to Devil Satan, for I shall stop his commotions. End poem.
Excellent read.
Excellent read. Stop stealing my words, Stephen.
Oh, did good. This is great.
I'm just kidding. He didn't even laugh. Oh, okay. Like, he didn't even laugh. What is he doing? It was a wonderful read. Wonderful, right, Kate? You read it? What did you think?
Oh, well, first off, you're cracking again, Sky. I'm sorry. But I will leave a comment for Wayne. Yes, I will leave a comment for Wayne. You know, Wayne, I thought this was great because when I enter these contests for Sky, I'm probably one of many who enters without really knowing the background of the character. And there are some that when they enter the contest, they bring a little bit of the character, their persona into the words. And you did that. But I also like the fact that you gave her a voice as well, because it was a voice that, as I said in my comment, is one that takes no guff from others. Because I do see having a voice as important, especially if you're a woman, because it is easy for a man or man in general to inflict hurt easily upon others and society. So I think that you took the character and you kind of gave her a badass life with some great fierce attitude. It was a great write.
Thank you. Good read.
Thank you.
Right. And Stephen?
Well, yeah, I definitely agree with Kay because when it comes to these characters, well, actually, most of the characters that you go with in your contest, I have no idea about other than Nightwing was the only one I ever had even heard of.
Yeah.
Until, so it's neat when somebody is able to give me like some background on these characters because I have no idea, who they are, but then I get a kind of a general idea. So I think this is great that you kind of brought me her biography.
Yeah.
Excellent, right?
Yeah, I didn't know that about her either.
Yeah, little by little.
You tried to write about somebody you know about.
Little by little, we'll be learning a little bit about characters. I do have some more well-known characters lined up, so don't worry, Stephen. We got some well-known characters. But I thought this was so great, and I know a lot of some of the characters I actually don't know, and one of the ones that we did, and I can't remember. I think it was last time. And I wanted to do it by subject, and I wanted to do about this one. Actually, it made me. I was kind of going along the lines of Joseph Moon, and I was like Moonscapes. So I thought that was. I thought it was. So I just kind of looked up moon characters, and I think I did know her, but I didn't know one in the last show. But I thought this was great, and the thing I liked about it is that. Although I do enjoy when people take from the quotes and they go where they want to, I also enjoy when people throw bits of the story and actually stay true to the character, because I think it brings more into the show and it brings it in a creative way where, I kind of, before you read this, I kind of put a little synopsis about her, but it's so much better in this poem. It's creative and it's unique, and it's much better than listing or just reading from a note card about all the background information, because you do it in such a creative way. I thought it was a great additive to the show and to the contest. What I liked about it most, I think Kay kind of touched upon. And I think I wrote it in my comment too, was that it was such a well-voiced poem. I thought it really gave to the character and to her strength. And you talked about the background information about her father and even what her name means. So it's almost like a bit of flash fiction character, right, where you can kind of take this and I think it'd be cool to have one of these and have like a little series about all different characters. I can see this going well, and you can just take a quick peek and learn about different characters in a really creative, poetical way. So I really, really enjoyed this one, and I appreciate it so much, Wayne.
Thank you. Good comment. I set it up for you get next to the thing. It have to be a big fight. To be fighting next, so it'll be next chapter. But now you know who they are. They can fight now because you know who they are.
Exactly.
Well, you brought in the character, you brought in her family, you brought in how she was created,
Right.
and you even brought in the villains. So it's a little bit of a battle in here as well. And I just watched Man of Steel today, so I'm like all ready for I'm all comic booked up. So I thought this was really awesome.
It's great.
We got to say too about that picture too. I don't know if anybody noticed that there's a groupie behind her. Can you see his hands? He's going with the rock and roll. He's got the rock and roll fingers going. You see it?
Oh yeah, it is.
I didn't catch that.
I don't know if that's really what's happening there, but we can say that. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, I do see that.
That's great, Stephen. Good eyes.
I did have one more, but I didn't get to do. I just ended up doing 3, but I was going to do Dr. Moon as well. But I just did 3 for this one. But I think 3 is a good amount.
Yeah.
There's some really good.
It was a good amount. Got the right.
Thank you. I didn't mean to become a woman though.
I was hoping that you would have tried to change your voice, Wayne.
Yeah, I tried it, but I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it.
Well, you know what? That didn't even process into my mind because I write so many character rights from male point of views. I don't ever, when people write and interchange genders when they write, it doesn't even dawn on me that when you read it, it's in a different voice because I write like all my serial killer rights are usually in a male voice. So that sounds terrible, but they're usually in a male voice and just kind of go with it.
Even the title says, "I am the Moon Maiden." I said, I can't read that.
Why not?
But you said in your author's note you would.
I would never got to it.
Well, I think you picked a good one for him. Kay read it really, really well. So are you sticking around for a little while, Wayne, or do we have you for a little while?
I'm gonna stay for you. Yeah, I just had a big fish fry downstairs, and everybody went next door to play cards, so maybe they won't bother me for a while. So I'm gonna stick around.
Okay.
Sounds good.
You know, Stephen has steak and lobster. I have Chinese food, and chocolate. Kay, what do you got? What do you got, Kay?
I fried fish and hush puppies and I had fish and hush puppy fries and slaw. Just had big fish fries.
Well, our dinner was accidental.
Yeah, well, I told them that they marked it down to half price.
Oh, well, yeah, our dinner, we weren't supposed to have that today, but we ended up having steak and lobster.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that sounds good.
Yeah, it was good.
Give me a piece.
I am kind of all of these. I haven't had lobster in so long. So, Wayne, we don't really have Red Lobster. I have to go far away. We have Weather Vane. I'd have to drive over 2 hours to get Red Lobster where I am.
Oh, wow.
And I'm on the East Coast. That doesn't even make any sense to me. I'm on the East Coast, and it takes me 2.5 hours to get to a Red Lobster. It's because I live in the middle of nowhere.
You're picky. You're real picky about it.
Well, no. That's just that.
You don't want to drive that lobster like we get.
Yeah, I mean, I can't drive that far for lobster. Can't do it. All right, wait. Do you want to read one? Do you want to read one since you couldn't read yours?
No, I can't read it. I've been cooking like grease all over me. I can't hardly see.
We'll make Stephen read.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not greasy.
I am
very clean.
Well, you have to read it.
Okay. This is from, hopefully I pronounce his name correctly, Farouk A. Hassan. And it's called The Taciturn and the Talkative 6, Son. All of the labor, all of the lurge. Years went by, came the sunlight purge. Rose was dead, rain was gone. nothing to gain, nothing to urge. Faces pale, faces bright. What was left, what was right? Every single plant bearing shadow never knew what was light. Given the pain, given the price, sun appeared providing paradise. Desert and rain, it was a sign, turned into water, turned into the ice. Sun hadn't come, sun always did shine. Everyone wondered, would it align? Arduous journey, legitimate excuse. Now that it appeared, everything was fine. End poem.
Thank you, Stephen. Excellent reading. I forgot my information, so I'm just going to tell you the quote he wrote. Well, I'm going to ask you what you thought about it, but it was for Moon Knight. It was for the first quote, which is, I am a ghost now, a specter of the moon. So what do you think about that, Stephen?
Well, first off, you're crack-a-lacking again, Sky. This one I might have to read a couple of times. It seems to me, it almost makes me think of ancient tribes. You know, when they worshipped the sun, and then when it went away, they would be frightened, kind of thing.
Yeah, I got that kind of vibe, but I also got like a post-apocalyptic vibe almost. You know, with the sun appeared, paradise, desert, and rain, and the sign of turned into water, turned into the ice. You know, having those extreme weather, differences. You know, the sun hadn't come. Sun always did shine. Everyone wondered, would it again? You know, when I think of, maybe I read too many post-apocalyptic books or something, but whenever I think about the sun not shining and those things becoming a thing of the past, I think of end of the world type stuff, and perhaps that even ties in with the tribes, because I feel like if we had an end of the world, we would go back to the earlier ways, like you had said, like when you have that, you know, feel of tribal things. I feel like we would, because I would assume that we'd have less technology. I mean, right?
Yeah.
So?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like how it can kind of give a feel of both different time stamps, depending on the reader and how they look at it and have that duality.
Yeah.
I thought this was a great one, and I thought it was great to the quote to the moon. And Wayne, what did you think?
I think this guy's a wonderful poet. The last three poems I read that he did, it was really good. And this one here, I like it a lot because it starts out talking about the sunlight purged, the rose was dead, the rain was gone, nothing to gain. Said how bad it could be, and his faces got pale. He said how bad it was, and he turned around and said, the sun appeared, proving paradise. So then it comes in and says, he says stuff like the desert and rain, it was a sign to water, turned into water, turned into ice. So everybody all of a sudden, everybody got happy, and it was, once the sun came back out, everything was fine. So it was a good circle there, and it did a good job with it. I like it.
Thank you, Wayne.
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome.
Yeah, I thought this was a great one because a lot of his writing pertains to nature, actually. And throughout all of it, I do see, my comment I left was, in the face of darkness, the light will shine. The sun will give hope, and the elements restore life. I thought this was a great one. You know, this one, it makes me think. There are some that I cannot just read at face value. There are some that I do read a few times over to try to get the better meaning of it. But this one is definitely a great write, and it definitely captures the elements very well.
Okay. And so he wrote for Moon Knight, and so did Alf, and Alf is going to be the next person I drop. So I'm going to just go through a few things about Moon Knight. And Moon Knight's first appearance.
Oh, me too.
I'm sorry?
we're still experiencing some crack-a-lacking, and I'm just wondering if maybe if it's us, if we need to call back in.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I can do an explanation, and you guys can drop and come back if you want to, and I won't be. Yeah. Okay, I won't read it before you guys get back. I'll just say my explanation.
All right.
Okay, we'll be back in a few seconds.
Me and Wayne will just hang out together. We won't be scared.
Okay.
Okay. So, Moon Knight, first appearance is in Wolf by Night, number 32, the stalker called Moon Knight. He had an alter ego, Mark Spector. His aliases were Stephen Grant, Jake Lockley, and Taskmaster. He had some other aliases as well. His abilities were divine powers, agility, escape artist, gadgets, immortal range combat, weapon master, tracking, and necromancy. So Moon Knight, or Mark Spector, Stephen Grant, and Jake Lockley, 4 different aspects of the same man who was resurrected, and the lunar Egyptian god of vengeance and justice. He has multiple personality and identities with powers that come from the moon. Moon Knight also assumes the identities of others, such as Captain America, Spider-Man, and Wolverine. He struggles with multiple personalities and amoral inclinations. So this character really interested me because he has so many, depending on which comic you pick up, he could be good, he could be bad, he can be impersonating some of our favorite superheroes, some more well-known superheroes like Captain America, Spider-Man, and Wolverine. And, in all the literature and all the background about him, he kind of struggles with his identity because of that. And I thought that's very much a relatable character. I think we all sometimes struggle with our identity and look to other characters and kind of place ourselves in them, maybe not taking over their identity completely as he did, but maybe in smaller ways. So I really thought this was a really cool character. And his quotes were, "You asked me how could such a beautiful land be ruled by such evil? Simple. Water takes path of least resistance, makes for crooked streams and crooked names. I'm a ghost," and then the second one is, "I am a ghost now, the specter of the moon." And then the third was, "It doesn't matter who you say you are, you ruin everything you touch, everything and everybody." And then the fourth one, "It's hard to explain, but I think of this might be all of this might be in my head, or at least some of it is." So those are the quotes that people could pick. And Kane, Stephen, are you back?
Yep.
We are.
So the whole time it was you crack-a-lacking and you're blaming on me and I was calling in and out?
Well, you were still kind of crack-a-lacking when we first got back in, but now you're nice and clear. So I don't know what's going on.
Maybe we can just blame it on Blog Talk.
We could, because Wayne was crack-a-lacking too. That's why we thought it might have been us.
No, I'm not. I was on mute, but it was cracking real bad. Did you cut on there? And I said, it stopped just a minute ago. Just cleared up.
No.
I couldn't understand nothing she's saying. So I said, that's cleared up perfect.
Well, hopefully now it behaves and stays that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good there. You're clear. Wow.
We'll just threaten it, We found it out, so now it can't hide.
Stephen did it.
Can't hide in the shadows.
I did it.
It's all your fault, huh?
So,
yeah, it is. Even though I'm not greasy though.
It could be grease in the mic.
Anytime Wayne's poem gets dropped now, I'm going to be like, "Can you read this? Are you greasy or no?"
I say yes most of the time.
Know what we're talking about. So this next one is by
easy crazy. Don't come easy crazy.
And you can get some napkins over there. But he went with the Moon Knight. I'm a ghost now, a specter of the moon. So by Elf Collier, and I'm actually going to read it myself, so I'll read one tonight. Ghostly specter. When I walked, the world was an oyster shell, clinging to rocks, waiting to be opened. I surf the rumble of thunder and use lightning bolts as stepping stones, strode lowly valleys, and scaled the heights of mountains, bathed with mermaids on the shores of forbidden promise. But life has changed. I'm confined to a cell with a view of the moon. Sometimes I see my shadow lurking behind the curve of a crescent, waiting for release. End poem. And I kind of want to hear what Kay has to think first. I'll throw you right onto the bus.
Oh, me first, huh?
Yeah, today we're mixing it all up now. I don't know who I'm going to call on.
Well, I think this was a great one. This was in the contest. He picked the prompt, I'm a ghost now, a specter of the moon. I'm not sure which character that was.
Moon Knight.
Moon Knight, okay. Then I wrote to Moon Knight as well. So, okay. I thought this was a great write. When he first starts out talking about how he walked and the world was an oyster shell. Clinging to rocks, waiting to be opened. I definitely see that as, seeing the world as your oyster and everything is at your feet and you're just waiting for things to fall at your feet. But, I thought this was a great one because, I'm a little speechless on this one. Because, he talks in the beginning about hope, but then at the end, speaking of waiting for release, sometimes I see my shadow lurking behind the curve of a crescent. I'm going to have to pick up on some of what everybody's saying here because it's a great take on the prompt. It really is. Like I said, with these shows, I'm learning as we go along. And that's a good thing, too, because I'm learning about things that, are new to me and enlightening me. I thought this was a great write, but I'm going to read it again, and I'll leave you a good comment now, I promise.
Thank you. Excellent comment, Kay. And Stephen?
I had to look over it again while Kay was commenting because I didn't see. She kind of opened my eyes up to it a little bit. The world as his oyster. I started thinking, I see somebody who had everything he ever wanted.
Yeah.
And life was really working out for him great, and then all of a sudden he ends up imprisoned. So actually what I'm seeing here is almost like the Count of Monte Cristo, which is one of my favorite books. So that probably helps to bring it to mind too.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is really cool.
Thank you, Stephen. And Wade?
Yeah, this poem seems like to me he's an old being that was created a long time ago. He said when he walked, the world was an oyster shell, clinging to rocks, waiting to be opened. So that's a long time ago, and he surfed through the rumble of thunder, he used lightning bolts as stepping stones. As time went on, he scaled the heights of mountains, bathed with mermaids, and then he got put back down to some point where he's just a single cell with a view of the moon, and the picture shows the last line, looking behind the curve of the crescent moon. So it's a good poem, and it seems like a story of a lifetime or a lifetime of the earth, basically. And he's been around for a long time. That's what I got out of it. It's a good poem.
Thank you, Wayne. That's kind of where I kind of took it too, with the oyster shell, and then especially down to in the journey of becoming, he's confined to a single cell. What I liked about it too is that he pulls in the moon, but he also speaks without speaking about the tide, and he kind of does that in a roundabout way. I surf the rumble of thunder and use lightning bolts as stepping stones, strode lowly valleys, and then going with the bathed in mermaids and the shores of forbidden promise. And when I think of the moon, I also think of the tides and it pulling in and ebbing and flowing, and in a way that is a little bit of the world's creation. With when you think about the oceans and the mountains being the foundation of the earth. So I like how I too kind of got that for this right. And then journeying through life and how it's changed. And I thought it could be also a very deep and internal metaphor of how life changes and how how the phrase "the world is your oyster." That's a very common phrase. So to say, the world is your oyster when you first start, and then slowly those opportunities kind of get taken from you and stripped from you until you are, you feel like you are a confined and single cell. And that's the part that turned for me when I was reading this. That was the part where I felt all those possibilities kind of strip away, and I felt that confinement. And then when you see that confinement, or when you feel that confinement in life, I think people often look at themselves and see what happened, and then all of a sudden those shadows are lurking behind. He wrote the crescent, the curve, but it really could be whatever it is that pieces of you are hiding behind and waiting to escape. So I thought it was a really great piece. It's pretty abstract, so I think it could go into many, many different ways. Where Stephen reads it, he sees the Monte Cristo, and where I see it might be different. And that is the thing about abstract; it really can be taken in different ways. But it was an excellent and thoughtful write. I thought it went to the right, the prompt. Wonderful. So
yeah.
So thank you, Al.
You almost make it sound like it's a poem about aging, then.
It could be. It could be taken away.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or time passing.
What did you say, Kay?
Well, no, there's a lot of different ways you could take it because, I didn't pick up on the analogy of Count of Monte Cristo, but then you talk about the fact that it could be aging, it could be about time. There's a lot of great ways to look at it because, it could speak from all of those angles. When you're young, the world technically is your oyster. There's lots of promise, opportunity, but as you slowly get older,
you get arthritis in your knees.
Yeah, opportunities and time, they take away what once was easily accessible. So, yeah, there's definitely a lot of ways to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he splashes that little bit of fantasy with the mermaids into it, and I thought it was really creative, and I like creative things. It was really great.
The mermaids are when he was young and a stud.
Oh, the mermaids are girls. The girls that he had, maybe.
12 girls I've loved before.
Yeah. A lot of great ways to look at it. How about that?
There's so many. I'm going to have to ask him because I kind of just took it as to what I thought, but I guess there's no way to really find out unless you ask the writer. So I'm just going to have to shoot him a message and be like, so we all discussed this. We all took different things away from it. It was excellent. So let's see what you got.
Yeah.
Blog Talk's acting up again.
Discussion that brought, huh? So, do you know if Raz is going to call?
I don't know.
He's not on file with permission, so if he does not call, we cannot get him read.
Okay. So I have you, Stephen, and Dan dropped one. So is there a particular order you would like to go in? Would you like to go now? Would you like to go after Dan?
It doesn't matter.
No, I'm here for the duration, so whenever you want to. Wayne's leaving us.
Wayne's leaving.
He's leaving right now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, sorry,
well, he says he has.
Sorry.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. Have a good time.
Well, he's gone.
You're going to do well.
We talked for 40 minutes. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah. Yeah, he shared with me earlier a SoundCloud. He actually sang, and he sang pretty well.
It was a nice country tune.
Yeah, it is. So he's excited to go share it in the other room.
Okay. So, what I'm going to do on the chance that we get into the caller, I'm going to drop Dan, because I would like to get you guys to get some comments from other people. So I'm going to drop Dan, and if no one calls him, I'll drop you guys. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
All right. So Dan dropped one, for Moon Knight, and he wrote to, which I thought, this is the quote that I really, really liked, so I'm glad he found one that fit this one. But it is, where is it? It's hard to explain, but I think all of this might be in my head, or at least some of it is. So I thought that was a really, really cool one. And I'm going to ask Steven to read this one, because I'm probably going to ask Kay to read next. So.
Okay.
Okie doke. A joke?
Yeah.
All right, from Boodho, or as we like to call him, Dan. And it's called A Joke. Or sorry, A Joke?
Yeah.
Laughter is the bane of all existence, for it lets down your precious armor and of the common senses, leaving you naked and exposed, allowing cracks, fissures, and in seeps the corruptions of placid, malignant malevolence. It ingests from the inside out, like an insidious plague, devouring the vile sustenance our dear Creator gave us, the good and the plentiful, and when altered and manifested by molten obsidian embrace, erupted from hell itself, its human form becomes me. I am but a byproduct of disenchantment and ambivalence of a darkened society's foibles, regurgitated from the altruistic tendencies of the many feeble bleeding hearts, those who plead and reinforce good deeds that pave the way to why I stand before you all today. So here belies to you a broken mannequin born by a feckless sociopathic quorum that knows no truth but failed dogma. I am a living, breathing, seething joke. But are you laughing? End poem.
Are you laughing?
No.
I don't think you'll be laughing when this guy's cutting and slicing you open. I think that's part of the humor in the ending, you know, that dark humor. Like, are you laughing? No, I'm about to murder you. This is great. You know, I haven't read it before. I'll Stephen, you read it. What do you think first, and then I'll.
Well, I did read this before.
Yeah, it was for our Joker show.
It was for our 2-part Joker show a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And I remember when he read it, he did it a lot better. He
had a maniacal tone to him.
Yeah, he did a maniacal Joker voice to read it.
Yeah.
I thought this was deep and dark. I told him in my comment, like the Mariana Trench. But yeah, I definitely agree with you, Sky. It's almost he put the quote up at the top from Nicholson. Haven't you ever heard of the healing power of laughter?
Yeah.
But I can also see, what's his name?
Which one? From
the Dark Knight.
From the Dark Knight, there was the Joker. There was Batman.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Joker, the other guy that played the Joker that you like.
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger. Why so serious?
Oh yeah, he
That's
laughed
what I
a
could see.
lot.
Yeah. But are you laughing? Yeah, I agree with you. No, he's going to be cutting you open. And you're not going to be laughing. a lot of dark terminology in here to really bring it home. The alliteration too almost totally tied my tongues in knots, but it was still pretty cool. It's an excellent write.
Thank you, Stephen. And Kay?
Yeah, I thought this was a cool write because the picture I used was a Jack Nicholson character.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Jack Nicholson's character as the Joker, he did laugh a lot, but Heath Ledger, he really laughed a lot. It had its own maniacal qualities to it. I do like the direction that Dan took with the write because, as I told him, laughter can be seen as many things. Sometimes laughter often means one is lonely if they laugh a lot, but they're also hiding behind the smile and the laughter to not let on about the pain. Because it actually reminds me of something that I read online a while ago. I have all these quotes saved on my phone. It's insane. But it says that psychology, it gives a rundown. Psychology says if somebody laughs a lot, they're lonely. If they are on the defensive too quickly, it means they're sad. And I forget the other aspects. It's on my phone, but it's not turned on right now. But it gives a lot of great insight as to different characteristics that a person puts forth and that it actually means something else. So it's basically telling you to look deeper, look at the person, and see what really exists within and try to understand on a deeper level. I like how he talks about the broken mannequin that knows no truth but is a failed dogma, because that to me spoke of trying to find oneself but having a hard time of doing so. So instead, one hides behind a face of happiness that's not really happy all the time. Mm-hmm. That's something a lot of us, we do greatly as well. We put on a face because that's all we know or that's all we want to show. So I thought this was a cool write and comment. And I am going to let Boo in. If I could pick this up.
Hi.
Hello, Boo.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hey, baby cake. How are you? Hello.
Mama Cake.
I whipped one up for you. Just for you, love.
Good. You know, I let Kay go before me, and I shouldn't have done that. Did you hear that comment? Oh, how do I even follow that up?
I know. I was thinking the same thing. That's what I was going to say. It's true, though. It's true, though.
Yeah. We'll just say no. Yeah, no. You know, I love how you delve into the psychology of it and the comments, because it's interesting, and I think that's so interesting to learn about and to read about, and I think when you look at a psychopath or a character like the Joker, I think you can definitely start to wonder those things and start. I mean, obviously he's on the very far end of the spectrum, but I think that there are certain characteristics on a smaller level that you can see in people, and I like that you did it. You kind of went into that, but as to the right, I thought it was such a great piece, and I loved how he tied the prompts that we have with this character, and it goes to show you how one phrase or one line can really connect many people, and I like that, you know, that it's all in my head, or at least I think so, because I can definitely see, you know, the Joker didn't say that line, but I can definitely see him saying it. I thought this was wonderfully dark. I loved I think it was the part that you know, the altruistic tendencies of many feeble, bleeding hearts, those who plead and reinforcement, good deeds that pay their way to the why I stand before you all today. You know, I thought this was giving to the character, but I think it also, perhaps the reason why Kate was able to link it with, like, you know, different type of psychosis is you can really kind of see the internal struggle of the person, not just the face and the character, but and kind of internalizing it. So I really loved, I gotta say, really loved the tone and the ending. But are you laughing? Because I just see evil things happening right after that. Like, just are you laughing now? Like, as a malicious and vindictive little toy on words. So excellent piece, Dan. I really appreciate you dropping it. So hi, Boo. Boo.
Hi, I didn't know this character either. Moon Shadow, right?
Yeah, I go real obscure.
You went old school. Mm-hmm. Of course, AT knew all about it. He was like, damn, too late now.
Next time I'm going to have a well-known character. And I'm not going to go, I was going to go the Avengers altogether, but I don't think so, because then I'm really going to want, like, I don't know. I think everybody's going to go for the most popular. So I think I may go a little bit different, go one big one and then maybe group them in a different way. So I'm thinking about what I'm going to do. But I think next time.
You ever do Deadpool, watch out.
Oh
yeah, Deadpool, yeah.
Yeah.
My daughter said Harley Quinn. No, she's talking about that.
So, you said you had one. I'm supposed to drop K. Do you have to read one? Do you have time to hear K? I'm hearing all the crack and knocking again.
Sorry.
Yeah, me too.
Sorry. My phone sucks. Sorry.
It might not be you. It's been happening a lot to everybody. I'm not really
No,
sure.
I think it's Blog Talk.
It might be Blog Talk, yeah, because we have those ebbs of it being clear and those ebbs of not.
Yeah.
But
and Boo, if you just want to drop your poem in the topic board for me.
oh yeah, I'll drop it in the topics folder for her.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. So how long do you have about Boo? How long do you have?
Until like 7:15. I'm cool.
Okay. All right, Kay. Kay was my gold winner, and she wrote tonight. So who did you write to?
Well, yeah, I did. I put the wrong link in the room. In the topics folder. Sorry.
Kay, can you hear me? Am I cracking? Can you hear me, or how's that? You're cracking.
You're cracking.
Now I can hear you. Crack a little.
A little.
Okay. So, Kay wrote to Moondragon. So I'm really happy they wrote to Moondragon because I think you're the only one, and now I get to talk about Moondragon. So Moondragon is her alter ego is Heather Douglas, and her abilities are Infinity Watch, Defender, Avengers, Guardian, or team affiliations, Guardians of the Galaxy. I think Blue is really waiting for me to do Guardians of the Galaxy, so I might have to do that a little bit sooner before Blue kills me. And abilities were telepath, telekinetic, master of martial arts, highly skilled geneticist, engineer, experienced starship pilot. So a little bit about her. Moondragon is a powerful telepath, master of martial arts, minor, basically everything I just said. And we're going to skip a little bit so we don't repeat. And she was most notable characteristics are her shaved head and achieving excellence in virtually every area of human accomplishment. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing that. Would you? To excel at life in general. I crushed it. But Moondragon has strictly achieved her extraordinary talents through extreme degrees of personal regimen. Moondragon is the daughter of Arthur Douglas, better known as Drax. I think, do we all know who Drax is? No, you guys probably, you've seen Guardians of the Galaxy? No, I'm the only one. Okay, Blue needs to be there. Blue, I'm going to make Blue come next. So she was once possessed the mind gem, one of the 6 infinity gems. So you know the 6 infinity gem. You guys seen Avengers?
No. We're born in that sense.
Oh my goodness. Okay, never mind. We're not going to go down that hole then. I'll just geek out.
I'm like glad the Luke guy because I really don't know much about the superhero stuff. Sorry.
It's okay. I could just geek out all by myself. It's fine. I'm totally okay with it. I'm used to it. So, quote star. You see and hear only what you want and need to see or hear, such as the high price of enlightenment. But how? And then the second one, how could you understand what it's like to see a man's spirit trapped inside? And you will recall not of the terrible deed we have done. So, whenever you are ready, thank you, Kay, for doing Moondragon. I appreciated it. She was I do like Moonspectre, but I really like Moondragon. So, thank you. So, go ahead. Continue.
Okay.
You have the mic.
Okay. I call this Night Falls on Chosen Paths of the Departed. That still small voice of snow, fallen on a heart. The shepherd, weeping to desperate souls, is the hammer of God. The heart will always be the lonely hunter when you imbibe from the fruit of poisonous apples. Heart of darkness quells land, snuffing out the magic through flying stars of wrong shapes. Broken are we into the deep you will find, selflessness that rings true and brave. This meadow of dark hollows is the maddest of them all. Snow drifts through stillness, shatter in sight. Sympathy for unfortunate ones becomes a curse of shadows. Dream catchers of broken kingdoms offer songs in the heart through the clarity. as a labyrinth of minotaurs become the sins of others. Through a secret tower, the girl in the garden chooses her guardian to be the angel of mercy through dances of death. A still small voice of snow, echoing cold. Heart of darkness speaks in silence. This meadow of dark hollows is a sign of fallen swords, as dream catchers of broken kingdoms screams to the owl of Minerva. Weep into desperate souls, broken are we, shatter in sight through a secret tower, echoing cold. You see and hear only what you want, need to see and hear. Such is the high price of enlightenment. Through clarity, the tree of truth offers insight to partake from. End poem.
Damn.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, that's why she took the gold. So
see why you got the gold, yeah.
I thought this was such an excellent piece, and I'm going to read my comment, and then I'm going to veer off a little bit at the end. But I did put a lot of thought into my comments. But I really love the holy hunter of the here and the stars and the wrong shapes. I enjoyed the snow, the cursed shadows, the dream catchers, the labyrinth. There was so much in mythical reality, fantasy, yet it felt real in the heart. And I like how you wrap with the tree and the fruit and bring it back to the beginning, because you kind of mentioned it in the beginning and then you kind of leapt back into it. And I thought when pieces do that, because sometimes I know I can start off with an idea and then get so, I call it Stephen King writing, because you get so much into different detail and you could, Stephen King can write like a whole chapter on just the color of a chair. And sometimes I go into that interpersonal thought and you want to come back out of it. And it's great when you do that as a writer, and I know as a reader I love when people do that, but you have to bring it back to the surface to where you started to wrap it in, and you did that beautifully. I thought you did well to the prompt, and I thought I know that the quotes, you tend to take them differently and personalize them, but I can tell that this one you also tried to wrap the character into it, and I've seen that with all the different aspects of enlightenment, and you even brought into the Guardians, and Drax is her father, and she was a pilot for the Guardians of the Galaxy, and so I really liked how you brought that into it. So even though you don't know the character, you still brought so many different aspects into it, and lots of nods with not only the quotes, but some of the information that you might have read for her background, which I really, really appreciated. So really, really well done, and congrats.
Thank you.
Boo. What'd you think?
Yeah, there's just so much here. I'm like, I don't know much about the character or the comic book, but it doesn't really even matter, because I mean the whole thing is just eloquent and poetic. I love part of darkness quells and snuffing out the magic, thought of flying stars of wrong shaped broken are we. I mean, that right there is fantastic, so deep. The whole, she just keeps going. The dark hollows of the maddest of them all, snow drifts. This is like really, really good. I swear, every time I read you're getting more and more poetic. It's like, you taking your poetry vitamins, I think. This is amazing. Weeping at the desperate code, broke to see, are we shattering light? And just see so much despair and hurt through the clarity, the tree of truth. So going through all that, eventually you're going to get to the truth, hopefully, and come out stronger. That's what I see. I don't know if I'm right, but it's very poetic, beautifully written.
Thank you, Boo. I like that, your poetic vitamins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh.
You gotta coin that. That's pretty fun. Stephen, what did you think?
I thought that this was mind-blowing, actually. My brain really hasn't been working much this week, so a lot of this I'm going to have to ask. I haven't even had a chance to read it. It's the first time I've heard it, and it kind of really has my brain going in circles, because I really don't know what you meant by any of this. Sorry, hon. I just know that the words are very deep, and it's too deep for me. I can't hold my breath that long to get down to the bottom.
Well, he says that, and then he's going to sit there, and he's going to digest it, and he's going to think about it, and he's going to come back, and he's going to be like, this is what this means. And you're going to be like, exactly. That's what he always says. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
That's a compliment,
At least he's admitting he doesn't know what's going on. That's good, you know? Is it Kay like coming out the other side stronger, Kay, or am I way off? I'm sorry, Sky. Is this it seems empowering, sort of, to me? But I don't know.
It is. Yeah. This one, I wasn't sure. Okay. When I looked at the contest, I wasn't sure if I was able to find the words, but I did. I put this in the contest, and it just kind of, once I started writing, it actually came together pretty quick, this one.
Is it about what we've been talking about?
It's a lot of different things. Yeah, it is. But I was looking at the quotes, and I was at first thinking I'm not sure, but then I kept going back to the one by Moondragon, and that's the one that I stopped at and decided to go from there. That's the one that spoke to me the most.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Fine writing. I love your SoundClouds. I stalked your page the other day and just listened to
That's okay.
All right, put you up, Stephen, and then I'll put up Moo.
Okie doke. Well, I didn't really know much about any of these guys either. I hadn't even heard of Moon Knight until about a month or so ago. We started talking about him over at A Team of Voices. But I wrote to the quote. You asked me, how could such a beautiful land be ruled by such evil? Simple. Water takes the path of least resistance, makes for crooked streams and crooked names. And this is what I came up with. Evil is a poetic hydra. What happens when you cut off the hydra's head? Two more come smiling. Evil is easy and thin like water. Given too much resistance, evil will hide its head in shame. But if your guard is let down, it will come head on. Starting with a single stream, it grabs hold. By the time you realize and try to block it, you split off into multiple streams, multiple faces, all coming with smiles and bad intentions, saying he is a friend, but wanting more than you want to give. End poem.
Excellent piece, Stephen. So I really like this one, and I think that I feel like I may be wrong, but when I write for contests, I think about the judge, and I think about what they really enjoy in a contest, and I feel like you put a lot of because I've read different kinds of writing, and sometimes you go a little bit straightforward. You do many different things. You're very versatile, and I think for me, you kind of give me a lot of metaphor, which is what I like. And so I like that you do that. So thank you, one, for that, if you do it on purpose. You may not, but I at least I do that when I'm looking to contest it. I'm like, what is this person usually like? So I like, you wrote in your comment that it was a metaphor for life. But I did see the metaphor. I really liked the entanglement with the Greek mythology of the Hydra, because, and though I didn't know you said you don't know much about things like that, but, and this is the different types of, Hydra is in comic books. It's like the opposition of S.H.I.E.L.D. So it's like a evil organization, if you will. So you may have not known it, but you brought that whole vibe into it by using that mythical creature, because not only do you bring in the Greek mythology, but you bring in the entire universe of comic books with Hydra and S.H.I.E.L.D. and opposing good and evil. And so I really, really liked that aspect of it. But you take all that out, and you take all the mythology, and you take all the comic stuff out. What you have is a wonderful piece that somebody can look at internally and apply it to themselves, or apply it to people that they know. And it's almost like a journey with the river flowing through. And if I'm not mistaken, would that be the river of life?
What would you write about?
Well, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was asking.
You were
I said, if
crack-a-lack
I'm not
towards the end
mistaken.
there.
Oh, okay. I was thinking, if I'm not mistaken, it would be like the river of life veering off in different ways.
Well, I guess you could say that. There's actually a kind of a personal meaning to this.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm just going to have to keep looking at it until I figure it out, since we're not going to make a say on here. Boo, what did you think? I thought it was a great write, Stephen. I thought it was really great.
Thank you.
Yeah, me too. And really unimportant that you don't know exactly what the show is about. Even the way that you read it, I thought was really moving. Like I could tell it was personal to you. I love that picture. It's a nice brevity too. I like the way the format looks. It's kind of like by the time you let somebody in, and then by the time you realize they're a piece of shit. I hate to say it that way. It is that it's too late. Saying he's a friend but wanting more than you want to give. You're already Mama kid at this point because you already let him in. You know what I mean? So I feel resentment here.
Would you mind just calling back in, just in case it is your phone?
Yeah, my phone is
I want you to
Well,
read
you're both
that.
crack-a-lack really good at us.
I
know. I lost my dad's phone, which was my only phone that was decent somehow, like an idiot. Now it's my another one. Okay, I'll try back. I love the poem, Steve.
Okay, because I don't know what you're saying. Thank you, Boo.
I'll be right back.
All right.
I think
All right.
she nailed it.
I did hear her
I don't even know. I didn't hear what she said.
I heard certain words. I heard her say something about resentment.
Well, and I heard her say something about. Well, it sounded to me like what I understood, like she may have nailed it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to make her repeat that when she comes back. Can you just repeat that?
There she is. Hopefully it works.
Okay, here she is.
Uh-oh.
She's back already?
It is me, I believe.
Boo, can you repeat everything you said? Can you repeat everything?
It is my phone.
Yeah. Can I make you repeat everything you said? Stephen said you nailed it.
Yeah.
So we all want to hear what you said.
I said, boo-hoo, it is my crappy phone. I am the one crack-a-lacking.
No, I meant the comment.
Oh,
Stephen,
when I first came, or you mean before?
Right, about Stephen's phone. No,
okay.
No one could hear you except for Stephen, apparently.
Okay, I said I'm kind of like when you let somebody in, and then by the time you realize that it's too late, you're already sucked into their bullshit, and you're already there, and they don't even give it. It's too late. I just see serious resentment here, and it's kind of like a snake in the grass that you discover when it's far too late, and by that point you're screwed. Yes. That's my poetic description.
You pretty much nailed it.
Yeah, and the picture fits it perfect too. Look at, I think it's snakes, right?
Oh, that's the Hydra.
And okay.
Hey, I kind of nailed it in my comment because I wrote luring with the sweet before the kill.
Yeah, like just waiting to suck their teeth into.
And then I wrote, sometimes the worst and deadliest enemies are once called friends.
Yeah.
See, I got it. I wrote that in my comment.
There you go.
All right, thank you, Boo. Excellent comment. It was so wonderful now that I could hear you. I was like, I can't hear what she's saying. I want to. All right, we'll get a comment from Kay, and then Boo, it's all you. And then I don't know what you picked because I haven't read it yet. So if you want to say the quote or the character or what, just before you read, right after Kay's comment.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what more to add because as you will read on my comment, I said, boom goes the dynamite. Life is its own tragedy with what we got.
Well, yeah, I know. You went smart aleck like you like to do. But,
I can't get away with it.
Yeah, I know because you know exactly what it's about anyway. You both nailed it, but there are certain personal aspects that shouldn't be mentioned on the air.
Well, no, I know. I'll still say, as Cleveland Brown would say, from the Cleveland Brown Show. Boom goes the dynamite.
What you do, Stephen, is you put it such in thick metaphor that no one has any idea what you're talking about. That's what I do. All my personal stuff is like, yeah, no one knows what I'm saying.
Exactly. That's what I.
Or don't you love when you have to bust out the thesaurus when someone reads, or the dictionary? They got so many big words in there. It's like more work than it's worth to read. Colin, there's a few people that do that.
I think there's an art in that because I do love learning some new words, and I do enjoy it. So, if I'm like, I have to look up a couple, like two or three words, I think, and I think I have a pretty good at vocabulary. So, I think if I have to look up 2 or 3, I'm okay. If it's like every other one and it's like decoding, sometimes I get a little bored. If it's like,
there's
if I feel like
I love doing that.
It's like looking at one of those old computers. It's like 010010011100, and you got to look up all those things. Or maybe like people are using like Morse, the Morse code, and you've got to go back and forth to try to figure out what they're saying. But I do like when people introduce me to new words. Sometimes I'm like, what is that? It's a great word. Do
you know the easiest way to find out if somebody is using a thesaurus?
How?
Is if when they're reading the poem on the air, they can't pronounce the word they used.
Or they don't know. I hate when people use it in the wrong context. Like they don't even know the word. Like, come on.
Yeah.
You sound even dumber. Just use it correctly, please, or don't use it.
Yeah. I think it's good to expand language, but not every other word. Like there are some. So I do word of the day. So I have these 2 apps on my phone, and it says word of the day, and every day I learn a new word, or they give me one that I already know. That's why I have 2. I have a backup plan. So every day I get a word from this, a new word, and I learn them slowly. So and I think it's good to do that. But yeah, you have to be careful, and you have to know what you're doing when you're putting it in there. Yeah, and not every other word, because then it just becomes a little bit exasperating for the reader, and I think you lose your reader in the context when you do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So some people have different skill sets. So some people, like doctors or lawyers, they have a different vocabulary. So sometimes their metaphors are in fact a little bit thick, and it would go over my head regardless. So.
Oh, I love when they use the medical stuff. I think that's cool.
And they do it right, but it's still over my head because I don't know. But kudos to them. Well,
I have to agree.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. So the quote that I used is, "Do you know the suffering I've gone through for you?" And so it's called Diabolical Disgust. Don't you love the picture? I love it. Cold bastard.
No, I don't know if I'd want to buy
cooler. That. No, it's so cool. Look at the pieces inside. Okay, so it goes like this. Do you know the suffering I've gone through for you? Despise your presence. 2 hits, you hitting me and me hitting you. Solitude underneath your sinister gaze. The truth, watch as it fogs up in a haze. Twisted reflections. That's a typo. We're one and the same, so to say. Cringe at the sound of his damn name. Despise you, don't feel my disgust. Waited so long, heart began to rust. Gray ashes to ashes and dust to dust. What has happened? How do we lose the trust? Oh my God, Typo City. Shoot. Vile fingers prolong through my shame. Please erase the remnants of your blame. War zone bloodshed splatters once again. Lying bastard, you were never my friend. The demon shedding my hate as if its skin, scabs in my vices. Let the infections in. The infections in. I'm gonna fix this. Sorry.
Well, the readers at home don't know your typos, but you're not reading along.
Lord.
This is great. Look at that F-bomb. Perfectly placed. I thought this was a really, really great piece, and it goes wonderfully to the quote, and it's fierce. Right? Where is it? Gray ashes to ashes and dust to dust. What happened? how we lose the trust. That is really, really great rhyming. I like when pieces have a beat to them when they have rhyme, and you could hear that beat and you can keep it, and you kind of like move your head a little bit while you're reading, and you wait for that fall and for that end rhyme. And when it comes to something so lyrical like this, I think I don't think I know. I enjoy it. I enjoy the lyricism of it. And then you have such great dark language with the vile fingers prolong through my shame. Please erase the remnants of your blame. I really, really enjoyed this. I really, actually, really enjoyed this.
Thank you. I fixed the typo. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. You know, I read right through typos because like some people call me, they refuse to text me. That's how bad I am texting. Like they refuse to text me. Mm-hmm. And Sarah Allett says I have my own language, and because she likes to decode things, that's her fun. And so she's probably the only one who doesn't complain because she knows my common mistakes and she kind of puts them all together. So when I read typos, I don't even notice them. So I don't even know there's typos in here because I read right past them.
Thank you.
I like, it's true. It's really true. I don't even notice half the time. And then I get a text back and then it says, reread what you just wrote me. And then I reread it, and there was one time I was really embarrassed the other day. I wrote something terrible to my boss, and it was just like 2 days ago, and it was awful. And it had the word sexual in it.
You want to hear something hilarious? You know what PRN means, right, Sky?
Yeah.
Okay, so my friend at work, she texted, she faxed the doctor, and she said, I need a refill on this medication. It's PRN. Well, she didn't check it, and it came out porn. And so he circles it. He circles it and faxes it back and goes, we don't have any porn here, but you might want to check your spell check. I thought it was rather amusing. My boss did not.
Yeah, see, that's what happened. So my boss, I didn't know if my boss was amused. I just got a text that said, reread what you just wrote me, and then I was devastated. I was absolutely devastated. And then I was in the office later that day, and then I'm like, so, yeah, I'll reread my text. And then she just starts laughing, and I'm like, oh, good.
Thank God. Yeah, I kind of think it's funny, but my boss is really pissed. Like, it's like she didn't do it on purpose. Come on,
Yeah, I know.
But
yeah.
So, I thought this was fierce. I'm gonna have to. I really, really enjoyed this one. The lying bastard. You're never my friend. I think it really links up with Stephen's right too. With that, that turn and that word I'm looking for. There's a certain word I'm looking for, and I can't find it, but I will think about it when everyone else is commenting. But I thought it was such a great piece, and you just wrote it now. You just wrote it up.
Yeah.
Quickie? Wow.
Quickie. Yep.
Good for a quickie. Yeah. Good for a quickie, boo. Really liked it. Really loved it. Yeah.
Thank you.
So I like the question marks because I think when you throw out question marks, it can either do one of two things. It's going to bring in the reader, or it's going to create blame, and that's what I see here. Like that fierce, like pointing, like you did this. Like that's the intensity it has when you put the question marks in a piece like this. You're saying like this is what you did, and you kind of like. We're not bullshitting anymore, so I swore for you. There you go.
Thank you.
What did you think?
I thought exactly what you said, Sky. I thought this kind of answers my poem in a way because I thought this was awesome. And, yeah, Boo, I'll repeat what you said to me. You let someone in, you put the time in, and then it turns out they're an asshole. Is basically what I'm seeing here, and this is just only you do it poetically. So yeah, this is awesome.
Betrayal. Them off poetically. Yeah.
Betrayal. Sorry, Stephen. That was the word.
Thank you.
I was dying. Betrayal.
Betrayal. Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah. It's funny when Deb has the image prompts. I always tell her, Deb, Go with dark for me, not angelic, please. Every time, I just find it easier to write.
Yeah. She's pretty good. You know, I'm really picky. At first, I gave a couple of them back to her, like way in the beginning, like maybe the first two.
Really
I was
good.
like, I don't really know about that. I don't really like yellow or pink. And then after that, she absolutely nails it every time. It's really, and I'm really picky with art.
She's really good at getting your personality with the picture.
Yeah. Like, but it's not even the personality. I think I think I'm pretty diverse. My writing is very diverse. So when you have someone who likes different genres, it's kind of hard to pinpoint what quote unquote personality they are. But it's not just that. I really love art, and I have very specific tastes.
It's also a bit scary what she thinks of us a little bit. Sometimes I'm thinking, oh my God, does she really think I'm evil? Well, I'm kidding.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I still have two. I didn't have time to write for them, and I have them saved, and I plan to give it a go when I have a moment. What did you think? Okay.
Well, I will say to you, like I said to Stephen, boom goes the dynamite. Because you two, you both in your own way brought to the right its own meaning. Because I have to agree with what Sky said, how you start off. Do you know the suffering I've gone through for you? It's as if you're talking to that person and asking them, do you honestly know the depths that I've gone to for you? Do you understand? Can you see? Can you feel? Does any of this sink in? It definitely speaks, because I could say this to certain family members, and because there are like certain family members where I'm at the point now to hear their voice, to look at them, it gives me the willies, because all I see is bad. I don't see good. So it's like, yeah, I can understand this in a certain way, because there are some people.
Like you can't even stand to be in the same room with them, right? They just make you so disgusted. You just want to get out of there. That's how I feel about this person.
Yeah. That's why I avoid a lot of people, because it's just easier. It saves sanity. It saves you from opening your mouth. It's just sometimes, you let certain people in, and it's just like, ugh, I just can't. Your right is excellent. Boom goes the dynamite.
You ever meet somebody but you don't know why they irk you, but they just do?
Yes.
Like, there's a chick at my work like that. I have no reason not to like her. But she's just something about her rubs me wrong, and I can't stand to be around her. And I just can't stand it. And she didn't do anything to me. It's just, I don't know, her vibe, something about her is just like, I just got to get away from her.
Well, see, that's the thing. I trust vibes. If I immediately start getting weird vibes, I've learned in the past to listen to it, because if you get those vibes, it's there for a reason. Yeah. And I know you lately, you just let it go. Yeah.
I let it go.
Well, no, I mean, like the other week, I still, like I told you last night, I find it funny that you told your one boss that you called your other boss that you work for a dumbass.
Oh, yeah.
And your boss just like, oh.
Just tried to burn the store down.
I know. But I just thought there was great humor in that. I did. Because, you were upset because you were trying to prevent, the kitchen fire from getting out of control. But I still thought it was funny that you yelled, that dumbass did this. I can't help but to find the humor. And luckily your other boss felt the same way.
Yes.
You're also in a union, so you have some more protection, too. Thank goodness. But, yeah, Boo dropped, but I will say with her, right, it definitely embodies what you brought as well, as to the depths of sometimes we let people in. And that's the thing, too. You don't know. You got to invest the time. In any
before you realize that they're an asshole.
So you do. You have to invest the time, and sometimes, hopefully, it's worth it, but other times you learn that it wasn't. And the lessons along the way, they teach you to be wiser as to who you let in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a cool ride. It was. End comment.
Yeah. Incoming?
End comment.
Oh, end comment. I thought you said incoming. And I'm like, what? What's happening?
No.
Well, that concludes, I think, besides Raz, the end of our storyboards with S. Darkholme. And since we still have about a half an hour, I thought we would switch gears if you guys are okay with that. And I can drop a couple pieces from people that have given me some pieces for future shows that they would like on. And we can switch a little bit to Shutter, what did I call it? Shutter Button with S. Darkholme.
Yes.
If you want to. I mean,
Sure.
or we can end early if you guys would like to go to bed. But I have a couple if you guys want to enjoy some nice picture poetry.
I'm up to whatever you're up for because I'm probably going to be up for a while, but I know you've got to go to bed like around midnight because you've got to get up at 7 a.m.
Yeah. I'm going to call in quick to Hatter at 11 and read and run with him and say hello. But
I
won't
give Hatter a SoundCloud.
Yeah.
That was smart. Well, I put LG into the room, and this is called, and I'll read it, and then I'm going to drop the next one right down because I'm going to ask Stephen to read it, and John likes to, he's like a little bit of a tongue twister guy, and he likes to get real creative, so I'm going to drop him down. So if Stephen wants to give it a look over before you can, because he's my wordsmith. Sometimes he stumbles me up. I'm like, whoa. I love that about him. He really is like a wordsmith. I'm like, wow, you even get from here to here. This is so crazy, but it works. It's awesome. This is Tree Country by LG, and I took this picture. It's a picture of a snowy bridge. I actually took this for Blue. So this was on my way back from Pennsylvania, and I was on the phone with Blue, and I was driving, and I was like, wow, this is a really pretty bridge. And she was like, oh, get out and take me a picture. And I'm like, you can't just get out. I don't even know where I am. And she's like, yeah, get out. I'm like, that's on the side of the road. I'm going to die. She's like, get out and take me a picture. So I did. And so I almost died for this picture. So it's a nice snowy bridge, and that's where it came from. But Tree Country by Lori Gromit. A snowy shoulder over stream, she stretches winter shell. Her wooden boards lay shallow beam, with steps that lead to well. As Noah's Ark, dark shadows drift across that winter sky, when graying clouds drop down, then sift what she holds tight to ties. She's landmark, filled with her stamp, for on this mound of earth the pioneers scoped an expanse to shift a woodland's worth. As sparks of light stream from the east and shower her, she melts. For springtime flowers let her feast on fields with garden help. And poem. It's wonderful, wonderful piece. I love this. It got an honorable mention, and I put it on my recommendation list, and it's because I have so many. Sometimes it's really tough with my contests, and I'm like, these are all worth gold, but I have to make a choice, and sometimes it's really difficult. So it's kind of odd. You might see that it's an honorable mention, but it's on my recommendation list because I think it was just so, so beautiful. Her descriptions, her wood, and again, she pulls me in with one of my favorite devices, the personification. Her wooden boards lay shallow beam with steps that lead to well. This is a piece that I love to read out loud. I've read it multiple times because I just love it. I love the picture that it sends through, how beautiful lyrical it is with the rhyme, and I really loved the personification, and I thought it creates such a personal connection to me, to the picture, to the bridge, and even to the river. So a wonderful, wonderful piece, Lori. excellent. And description, too, when the gray clouds drop down, then sift, but she holds tight to ties, and then bringing it out into the spring at the end, and having regrowth in the flowers, which I think is good to bring into the cycle. So really well done. What did you think, Kay?
I thought this was great. I love how in the second stanza she talks about as Noah's Ark, dark shadows drift. I thought that was pretty cool right there, because I'm looking at the picture, and it is of a bridge that is covered in snow. And, winter itself, I always feel it's a very beautiful season, just like autumn. Because it's like I tell you, Stephen, I actually get a little sad when spring gets here, because it means the snow is done for so many months until it comes back again. My heart belongs to winter. It really does. The rite itself, I have to agree, gives strong personification of winter's charm, but then she slowly unfolds into the magic of what spring brings, because spring, it's always the season of rebirth, of hope, renewal, because what once was silenced and, went to bed for a while, it's all blooming again because of spring's beauty. And then, of course, summer. I thought this was a great rite. It really was. A lot of great personification.
Thank you, Kay. I was having a coughing fit. Sorry.
That's okay.
Stephen?
I understand. Well, I like this too. I kind of tried to read it really fast so I could go over and read John's. So I left a basic comment on her poem, but I did think that she used wonderful imagery to paint a picture with her words. I thought this was just LG is very good. Every time I read her, I'm amazed. Another one that causes me to drop my jaw. Kay has to buy I don't know how many Band-Aids every week because of how many times my jaw drops. But it's an awesome write.
Yeah, LG is. She's so talented. She's a teacher too, and she's so good. She really is. All right. So thank you, Lori. I give you this link. I always give you the link. So, and if you want to read John, and then if you guys want to find something, and then I think I'll find something, since I usually don't read on my shows, but I guess I'll read one that you guys haven't read yet. So.
That was good.
You are as well.
Good luck finding one that we haven't read.
I found one already.
Oh, okay. All right, clear my throat. This is John Coe, who I also enjoy reading. Hopefully I pronounced the first word of his title properly, Escher Wilderness. Or it could be Esker. Stepchildren climb to hemlock greens, ancestral homes for highland schools. At Cedar Pines, Loch Lomond scenes become set low diploma jewels. On railroad ties and graveled steps, cold breeze block granite makes a wall. Those worker bee armed quadriceps sprung springs announcing bouncing sprawl. Across those busy streetcar lines, electric overhead wires buzz, where pathways bending hedgerow pines, when rain makes moss appear green fuzz. But him and hawing hemlock shires, bursts of ever-jading synthesis, as escalating walk inspires, appreciating blissfulness. End poem. I only stumbled once.
What?
I said I only stumbled once at the beginning of the last stanza. So that's it.
He's such a wordsmith. I love reading him out loud. I stumble a lot sometimes, but he's so fun to read out loud because he is such. Lori too. Lori does it. I like to call them my wordsmiths, and but John goes to a whole unique different level, and he's so creative in his in he leaps from thought to thought, somehow connects them all. And you might be talking about grapes to describe the sky. Or I think one time did egg yolks for the sunrise, and he talked about egg yolks.
Um,
And I thought it was so cool and creative, and I just love it. I love that creativity. But so this picture was taken in England, and it's a picture of a grove. And I called it my secret garden because I really loved it. We went there on Sarah's birthday, and it was my favorite. It was my favorite thing out of the whole trip. It was just a garden, and that's all it was a garden in Old Estate, miles and miles, and there was hedges and mazes, and so this picture is a step of the stone steps up into a maze. If you go a little bit further above those steps, the hedges are way higher, probably double the height I am, and it's like a little bit of a maze, and it was really awesome. But so I love this, right? Electric overhead wires buzz where pathways bend, hedgerows pines where rain makes moths appear green fuzz. So I like how he captures the rain in here, and I don't know if he could see it, but it just got done raining. And when we were there, all the flowers were covered with dew and rain because everybody had left because it was a rain shower, and we waited it out in the house. And then we went out to the back garden, and everybody was gone, and it was just all wet and rainy, and we had it all to ourselves. So I think it's cool how he captures the rain, and I don't think you can quite see it in that picture, but it is. Everything's wet, and the pathways were bending and hedgerow pines. So it's interesting how he connected these. And he lives in England, but I think he lives south. So I don't know if he knows where this was, but I know he always asks me where my pictures were taken because he's from England. So excellent piece, John. Always love your work. What did you think? You read it?
Yeah, I thought this was great. I especially enjoyed the alliteration, something that I kind of dabble in every now and then, but not as often as others. And I know John does quite a bit. And I also like the inner rhyme where it sometimes took me by surprise. Sprung springs, announcing bouncing. I thought that was really cool. Yeah, and I do like the imagery that he used too. Yeah, this is awesome. John's very enjoyable to read.
Thanks, Stephen. And Kay?
I have to agree. As I told him in my comments, that he brings great beauty to the right, but also strong word, and it circles back to appreciation of nature and what is around him. As I tell him, it's truly a great write. He always touches on the unique in a amazing light because he always brings alliteration. He always brings words that are unique, but it always has its own beauty to it as well.
Thank you. Excellent comments. And did you guys find them?
Yes, I did.
Well, yeah, but why don't you read first?
Yeah.
Okay. So I actually have two, and they're picture prompts that I wrote too. And so I'll let you guys. Do you guys want to hear if the clouds assembled couldn't explain the night, or do you want to hear October painted prose?
That's a tough one. I don't know.
I would vote October because I like October.
Okay, October.
I just happened to write these, and you guys haven't seen them, so and they're to my own pictures, and I usually don't write too many, so to my own pictures. And it's like, why don't you write any poems to your own pictures? I'm like, I don't know, but I'll try. So here we go.
It's a pretty picture.
And this. Thank you. Yeah, I love this one. It's the yellowing tree bowing for readers at home, for listeners at home. It's a big, great tree with a lot of golden leaves, yellow, reds, and it's reflecting into the lake. And it's almost the entire tree is reflecting into the lake, and it's almost leaning as if it's kissing the lake. And I really loved it. It was just down the street from me a couple of years ago. But the quality isn't that great because my camera wasn't that great back then. October Painted Prose by Sky Darkholme. When autumn pulls on her colored trousers, she steals a peek of all her mirrored flowers, not the bloom of petals and stem of the rose, but a crowd of leaves October painted prose. With nimble fingers she laces belt strap belly, folds double-breasted buttons of of winter's wreath, and as her eyes drink sweet decorated jellies, she smiles and tucks mulch stockings beneath. She slips each brittle heel into Timberland boots, ready to warm the tresses of her chilling roots, then reaches for cloud to knit shawl from sky, as if it were the Eiffel Tower, and she Madeline. There is a gathering of others around lake, a bouquet of palette tones and tenured grace. They ready like a choir to bid goodbye too soon to their beautiful garments and harvest bloom, and poem.
Wow. Do you want to go first, or shall I go first?
Well, yeah, I'll go first. I like how you brought in as if it were the Eiffel Tower and she Madeline. Because the thing is, even though I did not have a daughter.
Well, James still watched Madeline.
No. I watched Madeline on my own. I remember watching Madeline when I was a teenager. And there were certain things that I did watch on my own, even after I had James. And even still now, just the other year, I watched the entire Angelina Ballerina, and I'm not ashamed to say it. Because I think that these cartoons, they're so cute. And, it just gave me a smile when you mentioned Madeline because, the cartoon itself, she lives in an orphanage, but, the cartoon itself, it always had its own lesson. It had its own playfulness and fun. And Madeline, the character herself, she was always, such a gentle child, and she always had a lot of love to give as well. I like the picture that you used. I like how you talk about autumn, and it's light. It's just, this is amazing all around. But, yeah, you got me there when you mentioned Madeline. It's a great one.
Those come from you wouldn't believe it, but I mean that by sarcasm. Those come from a book series. Yeah.
Yeah.
That show.
Yeah.
The cartoon comes from a book series.
Yeah, the old cartoon series. I think at times Christopher Plummer voiced. I think the vicar. I'm not sure.
He wasn't the narrator.
The narrator. That's it. Yeah. Because she lived in an orphanage that was ran by the nuns.
Yeah, Christopher Plummer played a great Klingon in Star Trek 6.
Yeah. It's bringing back all these little facets of the cartoon right now. I'm sorry.
Steven's tracking out over there.
Yeah. Oh, he did such a great job in that movie. He was just so awesome.
I know.
He played an asshole really well. I like this too. I like the metaphor that you used to describe kind of the tree in autumn. I can see it, the colored trousers being the leaves, the Timberland boots. I felt was the what do you call it?
What?
It's not the stump because it's not a stump is after it's been cut down. I can't think of what you call it. The bark, I guess. It's just a wonderful metaphor, and I too like the mention of Madeline because I actually would watch it with Kay too sometimes when she was don't tell anybody though, I'm ashamed. Just kidding. It's really awesome.
Thank you. Well, I got kind of like a feminist in this because when I first wrote this, I immediately went to all her to the dresses, and then I'm like, you know what? She's gonna wear some trousers and some boots.
It's really cool.
Thank you.
It is. Do you
I
drop yours now?
Yeah,
it's a great ride. It really is. One that just makes me smile. Because to this day, I still watch cartoons, and I don't care. I'm 42, and I love cartoons. Sometimes I just like getting lost in, those little tidbits, that takes me back to being young again, and it brings alive the inner child, too. And it's a good distraction from, the harsh cruelness of the world at times.
When we first met, before James was born, and we were just living with each other, we had Cartoon Network on almost 24/7.
Oh, yeah, we would fall asleep to Scooby-Doo.
I like cartoons. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And a lot of cartoons gear a lot of jokes towards adults. Like
they
get
do.
it kind of like I like when movies come out. Like when Frozen 2 came out, I needed to find something to go. Like I'm like I need to steal your children to my friend, my godchildren. I'm like I want to go see this movie. I'm like I'm gonna steal your children. Like you know the Maleficents. You know I get them and they're like yeah. And then I just go and she's like, "Did you really want to see that movie? Did the kids really?" I'm like, "Yes, the boys want to go see Maleficent. It's a boys' movie too," and they loved it. So, but
Maleficent.
Well, we saw the first one. We haven't seen the second one.
Yeah.
Oh, the second one was really, really good. So I took them to the first one. So I'll tell you a quick funny story. I took both the boys to the first one. The baby was too little. She doesn't go to the movies too much. But you know, when they first came out, actually I don't even think the baby was born when it came out. I'm not sure, but I took both the boys, and when the second one came out, you know, the oldest he's like 14. And then his brother's like 11. So when I went over and I was going to take him, and their mother's like, "Oh, just take you know the 11-year-olds because I don't really think the 14-year-old wants to watch it." And then she's like, "Just don't even just take him and just have some special time." So I went and took him, and me and him went together with my friend, and we just had some. Sometimes we have one-on-one time. And I get back, and the 14-year-old was really offended. And you know, his mom calls me, and she's like, "Apparently, he really wanted to go because you've seen part 1 with him in the theaters." So it goes to show you that when you start them on traditions young, even when they get into those teens, they still give back to you, which is really nice.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And comment. I don't know where that spun off to, but Stephen, I see you have a piece on the board. I'm ready when you are.
Yes, I put a little brevity on the board that I wrote a day ago, and I remember Kay asked me, "Where the hell did this come from?" And I'll just say, I'm not sure where this came from. It's just the words started spinning in my head, and I felt I had to write them down. And this poem was birthed, and it's called "The Tiny Blades of Grief." Standing beneath the clouds of grief, I look down upon my blood-stained feet. Shards of depression fall from the sky, cutting me to the marrow. But there I stand, beneath a shredded umbrella of hope, begging for its protection, as the rain reduces me to granules, and I become one with the decomposition below me. Oh, to feel the warmth of soul, the rejuvenation drying crimson fluid, making me whole once again. End poem.
I like this. You know, I liked how you went in, you've got rhyme here, but then in the end you end on a free verse. And I really like that. I like when people can just do that with and it works so well, because some people don't like that, and I don't know why. But I'm like, if you can't force it, you can't force it. Sometimes I do a whole piece free verse, and then I have a couplet at the end, just because that's how I feel like ending it, and that's what feels right. And I like how you make that decision yourself, and you're able to do that and have that freedom. But what I really also like is that beginning stanza. You know, first of all, the title, "The Tiny Blades of Grief." It makes me think of grass and the just having the blades come up, and when you're barefoot, it just made me think of the grass. And standing beneath the clouds of grief, I look down upon my blood-stained feet, shards of depression falling from the sky, cutting me the marrow. This is very abstract in an emotional way, and I really like that. I think this is, I think this might be, I don't want to say different, because I really don't know if that's the right word to say, because I know when people say, "This is different for you," I'm like, we haven't read everything I've written, but this is something that I've read. That, that's what I feel like when people say, "This is really different." I'm like, well, you haven't read everything, so maybe I haven't delved into your abstract enough, because this is it's abstract, yes, but it's very tangible. It's and that way where some abstract is very, very, very abstract, where you don't really know where they're going, you kind of have to take that journey yourself. This is abstract in a way where you're putting different and connecting images that don't quite go together, like clouds and grief, and then you're connecting the clouds to bloodstained feet, and then you're leaping to the cutting the marrow. So when I say abstract, that meaning connecting all those very disconnected images, bringing them together to express your emotions. And I think, to me, that's often how I write. So when I see it, I can understand it well, I think, and I feel it a little bit more, and I like the connecting of images, and I'm like, oh, that's so brilliant. I wish I would have thought of that, because that's really, really, I really liked it. I like how you went from the blades, and I still am picturing the grass. So when you say cutting, and when you're talking about the feet, I'm still bringing in that images of the grass, and you may have not meant it that way, but it's stuck in my head now, and I can't get it out. But I also liked the use of the umbrella and the protection, and what it symbolizes, and the warmth of the soul and the SOL. I really liked this. Really well done. I'm gonna stop rambling. Kay, help me. Cut me off.
Well, I may not have paid close attention to this. Well, no. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say sometimes I dissect a piece out loud, and that's what was happening. So I was like, somebody cut me off.
No, it's easy to do, because sometimes when I read somebody's write, I do that, and I end up leaving them a lengthy comment. And, there are those many moments that I hit the nail on the head, but then there's times that I don't. And they're kind enough to explain it to me, and then I get into a lengthy conversation back and forth about the write. And that's also pretty cool, too, when you try to figure it out. And if you get it right, that's great. But if not, and you get the bigger picture, and then when you see it, then it's like, oh. But I don't think I read this good enough the first time. I'm thinking I'm seeing aspects of this week. Am I right? About life, the fragility of life. Looking for hope when you're worried about what could lie ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't look at that before on the first time, but I understand it now. Yeah, because right now with family members, we're seeing how fragile life is and how time can move so quickly, and to just appreciate what you have, and don't waste a moment of what's given to you. But yeah, I can understand the meaning of it now. It is a great write. I didn't see it the first time, but I do now. So yeah, you definitely brought it. I'm sorry I didn't get that the first time. I should have.
It's all right. There's so many of yours I don't catch until you explain them to me.
Well, this is true too. But yeah, it's something I try to tell certain friends too. To embrace life, embrace healing.
Excuse me.
Because we're only here for such a short time, and you don't know what lies ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I will stop rambling. And if you want, we can make announcements, so that way we can all get the heck out of here.
What about your poem?
Oh no, we've got. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I'm pinning your poem. I think what we should do is, I think you should read, because we still have 7 minutes. So I think maybe you should read your poem, and then we can say thank yous, and then make comments. Do you agree, okay, Stephen?
I agree.
2 to 1.
Okay. Let me drop this down. I actually have not been able to read this yet. This was actually for Randall's show on Tuesday, when he did a show about female rockers, and I chose Stevie Nicks. I had a SoundCloud, but then I deleted it because I got to fix my SoundCloud. But yeah, I call this Endurance is Not Courageous. Velvet intoxication whispers to a soul. Loving him was like shaking hands of the devil. History of you were demerits on the soul. Man against fire never learns. Silent whispers tell, codes of honor, chosen destinies, and unspoken secrets of childhood's end. Etched in the soul, themes from the past, unstitched the woven threads of revenge, fashioned haute couture to be worn on a heart. This meadow of dark hollows, your alibi, the price of silence, the past memories of second skin, the heart revealed, a model of disguise. Velvet intoxication whispers to soul, silent whispers tell, becoming, etched in the soul. This meadow of dark hollows is the quiet unfastening of sanity. Rabbit holes of driftwood lanes speak of cowardice. Euphoria is lost in the vagabond hotel of mind. Black barns of Neverland burned. Tribunal homecomings were never meant for the faint of heart, but only a strong will stand in the face of madness. End of poem. I also put this in Phil the Poets contest for that quote by this Russian book that he had read. Let me pull that up real quick. The quote was, "You cannot walk away from life's problems. Weak men endure life. Courageous ones master it. If you live wrongly, sooner or later something will happen." I put that in his contest, and I got the gold in that one. But I tried to fashion it to fit to Stevie Nicks' music as well, like with the one song Dreams, and then Rihanna. There's 4 songs that I felt fit to the right as well, and I just went from there. So I'll shut up.
No, excellent piece. I'm going to say my thank yous before, because I feel like Stephen and I are going to start delving into this. So let me say my thank yous real quick. So thank you to Stephen and Kay for helping me co-host and letting me do the shows. And thank you, Dan, for being on the board and contributing, and Wayne for calling in, and Boo for calling in and contributing. Thank you. How do you say that? You read for him?
Farouk Hassan?
Yeah.
Thank you, yes. So thank you. And thank you, Alf, and Raz, and thank you to Lori and Sean for contributing some of the picture contests. And I think that was everybody. Yeah?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Okay. So thank you. Yeah. So we're going to go on to the comment, and then we'll end. So I'm going to make you go first, Stephen.
Well, I think you've edited this before since I last read it.
I did, because I got this really weird comment, and I tried to set them straight and say, hey, other people write a certain way. So to just stop the conversation, I tweaked it. And I tweaked it better, I think.
Yeah, because it makes my comment that I already wrote look idiotic.
No.
Yeah, because I
only changed 4 lines.
Yeah, but I say I love how you sewed the song lyrics in, and the song lyrics aren't there anymore.
Yeah, I know. I took them out, even though I see other people doing it. I just didn't feel like arguing with somebody who just wanted to be.
Did you delete their comments?
I did, yeah. Because sometimes when people leave comments, I'm not here to fight. So why do you comment on somebody's rights and you want to be belligerent? So it's like,
yeah, I know. They're out
forget
there.
it, buddy.
They're part of the Hydra. This.
See, I'm turning you slowly but surely.
But I thought this was a wonderful right to life, to growing up, to losing innocence.
Yeah.
This is awesome. As always, you rock the metaphor and blow my mind to where I sometimes have to go get Tylenol.
You're funny.
What a compliment, yeah. Honey, you're so wonderful. I'm going to go get myself some Tylenol. Out of context.
Yeah.
Was that it for you? I interrupted you.
Yeah, that's all I got right now. The rest I'll whisper.
Okay.
Well, I thought this was a beautiful piece. I like the velvet intoxication whispers a soul, a silent becoming tell. But what I really liked, I liked the meadow of dark hollows. is the quiet unfastening of sanity. The quiet unfastening of sanity. When people pull out lines that you could take that line and you could really chew on it for a while, I really like that. You do that a lot, and I have to say, I don't want to, like, if people say, like, you're getting better at writing, I don't want to necessarily say that, but you've been playing with a new way of writing and a lengthy way of writing, or maybe it's not new and you're just showing it your talents here on AP now, but I really like how you go through these type of, I don't know how to say it. The words aren't coming to me, but internalization and making an overall message, but making it very internal and very deep. And I've been seeing that in your writing, and it does not fall short here as well. And I like how you grab from different inspirations. And I've never really done that. I've always been a very focused writer. But now, when you were like, I'm double dipping from different pools to support different things, you said that to me, and I was like, well, maybe I can try that because I don't have time to, because it's a little overwhelming to be able to write for every single thing. So I'm like, I think I'm gonna take a K. Yeah, I'm gonna take a K card, and I'm gonna try this, and it actually is really interesting on the things that you can connect. And I found myself doing it today with Alice in Chains and the Lovely Bones, which is really weird, 2 connections. But it's funny how it worked, and I tied it in with a third thing that was different from both. So it's really interesting how you can do that, and impressive that your mind. I think women's minds are really, and I don't mean to be men or women, so maybe I won't say that, but some minds are very complex, and by having different genres of inspiration, I think sometimes it helps our gears work. It oils them in a way where sometimes focused writing can be harder. I feel like if I have a writer's block, the more focused writing is a little bit harder rather than trying to pull and draw from many different sides and kind of envelope yourself in them. So in that regard, impressive how you did that. And the writing and the meaning, I really also liked the rabbit holes of driftwood lanes speak of cowardice, euphoria, and loss of the vagabond hotel of mind. Black and if you're talking about certain songs, I don't think I'm grasping that because I don't think I know the songs, but I like the message that I hear from it and the way that you go through everything in the language. I thought it was an excellent piece.
Thank you. Yeah. I probably will put the Oh no, that's okay. I understand what you're saying. I probably in my hands will put the lyrics that I was referencing because I pulled a lyric from 4 different songs, and that was how I started my stanza. But then I switched it up today because there were certain
each
songs.
stanza was started with a line from the songs,
and then all the other lines were mine. There was just 4 stinking lines, and somebody wanted to be just whatever about it, so that's why I fixed it.
But you getting all copyright on you or something?
You always quote them, yeah. You quote them and you put them in the bottom, so I don't really see anything wrong with that. Sometimes I use lines like a word bank, but I think if you quote them and you give them credit, I mean, people write from poets. They write from certain poems. They find inspiration, and what's the difference between putting it in the author's notes and putting it straight in the right as leaping to one thought to another, and then giving it credit in the author's notes? It's the same thing. So
I agree.
It is. It's just some people, like I said.
There's some out there.
Well, yeah, it's like they're picking a fight. They're trying to, and
please everybody. So you're just going to have to work on pleasing Stephen and I, and we don't mind it. So there you go.
That's right.
There you go. Yeah, that's true.
I don't know how I got in there, but
It's okay, though. I will say I agree with what you said, though. There's nothing wrong with double dipping because the thing is, if a topic speaks in 2 different lights, I think I say go for it, because it is hard to tackle to write for every show, but if you can incorporate it for two different elements, I try to do that a lot, and I think if you could do that, I say go for it. There's nothing wrong with it, because you're still able to participate in two different rooms, and it works.
Yeah.
And sometimes it brings a different aspect to the write, and you're not just writing straight to the subject, but you're branching off in different ways that you might not have. That's what I find. I find different you might have an idea because one line might be solely one line, and then other lines might bring in different aspects. I like that. And when I do like the book versus movie, I do like 30 quotes. But really, if you wanted to, you can entangle the different quotes and create your own story and disassemble them and go on different ways. And that's not any different than taking from different pools of inspiration. So I think it's interesting, and I think it's fun.
I think so too. Yeah. Before we close out,
congratulations on your goal. Yeah.
Yeah, that one surprised me. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting an HM, in all honesty. So I was surprised when I saw I got the gold.
I knew mine was HM.
Well, no, I meant you didn't enter Philip's contest.
Oh, no, I thought we were talking about Skies. Sorry.
No, for Phil's, because I saw the others in there, and I just told myself I'll be lucky if it's an HM. So I was really surprised at that one.
Oh.
But yeah. Do you want, before we close out, give a shout out for Tuesday?
Tuesday, the Mortuary of Shadows?
Yeah.
That one?
Yeah.
Shout out for American Horror Story Freak Show, Season 4 of American Horror Story.
Yeah.
I got a cough all of a sudden again. 27 quotes we pulled.
I don't know if I'd have time to write, but I missed it. I didn't even know it was out. I swear, you guys sneak them around, and I don't see them.
We don't see them around. We're kind of pretentious in the fact that
as soon as one mortuary ends, we try to put up the next one's contest right after the show.
Well, yeah, after our shows, we get them
me directly, all the Mortuary of Shadows ones.
Yeah.
We'll link you every time we drop a contest. Okay.
Yeah, because usually after our show, we do the topic board and contest right away that night, so that way everybody has a week to write for it, and they have a week notice as to what the next show is about.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have our stuff mapped out pretty quickly there.
Yeah, we know what every show is going to be all the way up until April.
Yeah.
I know.
March is going to be a cool month.
I changed my mind. I'm like, I don't want to do this time. Like, it's really bad. So. So
It's okay. I've done that a few times.
What's Wednesday?
What's Wednesday? Introvert.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
You're plugging all the shows.
Yeah, Poetic Inklings is about introvert. Kay actually ran the contest for this one. She's got a bunch of quotes about being an introvert.
The contest closed, though.
The contest closed, yes.
It closed within a day. It filled up fast.
Yes.
I've seen that one, yeah. I had it bookmarked. I didn't make it.
And, of course, Thursday, is Alice in Chains. And I thank you, Sky, because you put all those quotes in the staff room, and I saw the one, and I was like, I don't think I know that song. So I went and I listened to the song, and that turned out to be the song that I wrote to.
There you go.
I'm good for something.
Yeah. Then Saturday.
And then Saturday is the duality.
The duality of Love's Heartbeat.
Duality of Love's Heartbeat, yes.
There's a contest open. Only 4 spots left in that one, because that one's filling up fast, too.
And that's writing either about good love or bad love again.
Well, there's a lot of picture prompts there
that
I put in that one.
Even a quote from Leonard Nimoy.
Is that the one I think I seen with the beard, and I thought of you and Steven? There was like a guy with a beard, and they're spaced different ways, and there's like this little. Time up. Yeah, I thought about you guys when I seen that. What time do you guys go on?
Next Saturday is 7 p.m.
Good.
Thursday is 7.
Thursday is 7 p.m.
Wednesday is 10:30 though.
And so is Tuesday.
And so is Tuesday because of your work schedule for Wednesday.
Yeah.
We had to put it at 10:30.
That works out for my work schedule, but I'd have to read in one. But so on Saturday, if I can make a plug, because I'm so excited that you're on at 7, because I'm on at 9. Yes,
yeah, go ahead.
I'm doing Hunger Games, The Mockingjay, Part 1.
Oh,
And
okay.
Book versus Movie. I have a lot of quotes, and I actually went pretty far out in my contest. So, like really far out, and I plan to go out a little bit further with the storyboards as well as soon as I get those together. And at least the contest, not the topic boards, but the contest will be up a little bit sooner. But right now I have the Mockingjay Part 1 contest open for Book versus Movie, and I also have the Mockingjay Part 2 Book versus Movie, and I also have the Dead Zone all open. Those will be the next 3 shows every other week. So have fun.
I'll have to check that
Have
out.
at it. I know.
All right.
Yeah, Stephen. I was thinking Stephen might like the Dead Zone.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like the movie version with Christopher Walken.
That's a good movie.
Yeah, The Dead Zone. But then they did a TV series with Anthony Michael Hall, The Dead Zone.
Yes, they did.
I never saw the series.
Yeah. Neither did I, actually, and I like Anthony Michael Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Christopher
Yeah.
Walken. However,
Yeah, he's good.
they really messed that movie up.
Oh, yeah. A lot of times they do,
bad.
though.
Yeah, but this one
I
was
like
bad.
Christopher Walken, too.
Yeah.
One of these times we're going to have to do At Close Range.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
All right, well, thank you, guys.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to
Did
finish
you want us
with
to
that regular.
Okay. Did you want us to play us out with music, or?
Yeah, you might. Yeah, might as well.
If
you want to.
Yeah,
Or
that
you can just go to bed.
Okay. Okay, then I will play us out.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Night. We'll see you later.
Yep. Couple days. Bye.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a good night.